Okay. Thank you, David. Okay, so welcome everybody. Sorry for the slight delay in starting. Welcome to this special day to celebrate International Mentoring Day. And we're starting with the incredible Bill Price. My name is Lisa McMurtry. I'm head of CPD for the IAPC&M, and I'm the host for Bill's Masterclass today. International Mentoring Day is a day to recognise all the incredible mentors out there and how their contribution, their knowledge and their wisdom, and how they share that with others to support others in personal and professional growth. And this day is to acknowledge all the incredible work that mentors are doing out there in the marketplace. So with this masterclass, we have the incredible Bill Price talking with us. And a little bit about Bill that I've written down here is he is a double PhD in holistic executive leadership, conscious agile neuroscience coaching, and also in neuroplasticity with NPL Switzerland Monarch University. This man is an incredibly intelligent man with a wealth of wisdom in his back pocket. I'm so excited to listen to him today. He's also an author and he's going to share with us an ebook, which he'll talk about towards the end of this masterclass. Something else about Bill is he was born in Bethlehem. However, he says, do not ask him to turn your bottle of water into wine. And I'm sure he'll explain a little bit about that too. So welcome, Bill. Please introduce yourself and move into the masterclass.
Thank you very, very much, Lisa. What a privilege and what an absolute honor to be here today with, I can with great confidence say amazing people, and without sounding as if it's just another phrase that said, I need to qualify. So in neuroplasticity, we have a saying that words are simply a rumor until you've unpacked their meaning. So I'd like to unpack the meaning of going that you're a group of amazing people. You're amazing because you are mentors and coaches. So therefore, part of your DNA is that you care for people, that you relate to people, that you help people, that you're there for people, you're a shoulder to cry on, you are a trampoline to bounce ideas off, you're a mirror to reflect into, you are a co-product developer, you are a sounding board, you are you're there in terms of your full essence. So that's what makes you an amazing person. So thank you for the privilege that I have today to be with a group of an amazing stature and to be together with you, Lisa, and the organization on International Mentoring Day. Mentoring goes way back to the Greek times, and so it's a long story, but it's a reality about empowering people. I'm going to be talking just a little bit about neuroplasticity, and with that I've got one or two little flip chart pages that I like to work on. I'm not a death by PowerPoint presenter, so I like a flip chart so that I can add color and writing and do all sorts of amazing things with it. But welcome. So neuroplasticity is the new kid on the block. So my journey with neuroscience started years ago. I was going through a leadership burnout as an HR director of a German company that was working in Anglo-Africa, the 32 English-speaking African countries in the continent of Africa. And heading for a huge burnout and coming into the process of, let me get out of this crucible of leadership, which was the whole chain reaction of the burnout for me. I had the privilege and honor to meet a rabbi who was a clinical psychologist that took me on my inward journey, a very radical rabbi. And his first words to me were, "Are you prepared to walk through your shadow?" And I'm going, he improved my prayer life. So I'm going, is there anybody else up there that can help me? Because this guy is like, he's really going to get to me. But it was the most amazing journey with him, because he's passed on now, but he left me a legacy that not only was he a clinical psychologist and a rabbi, very thoroughly honed in on the Hebraic culture and taught me so much of the culture, and literally flipped my thinking. But he was the one who said to me, "You need to go and study neuroscience." And I'm going, why the hell must I study neuroscience? I've already got a PhD, I've already got this, I've already got that. Why? Tell me why. And then he quickly prompted me and told me, why is a very bad question to ask for the brain. The brain and the neuroplasticity of the brain doesn't know how to work with why. So even Simon Sinek, when he wrote his book, First Find Out Your Why, as a neuroplastician, I can say, Simon, the brain finds it very difficult, the conscious mind finds it very difficult to work with why. For instance, go back to a time when you were a teenager, your parents said to you, you can go to the party, but you've got to be back by, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, depending on your parents' values and rules and regulations. And when you look on your watch, you're having so much fun, you realize, oh my word, I'm already an hour late. And so you rush home, you open the door, and this is what parents do, at least mine did. The lights were always off. So my mother was this augmenter of surprise. And I had my shoes off and I'm walking down the passage towards my room, and suddenly the light switches on. And I see my mother, and that's quite a shock because she's got curlers in her hair. The teeth are in the teeth cleaning jar. And I'm just watching a pair of gums screaming at me going, "Why are you late?" And immediately my brain doesn't go logic. My brain goes, oh my God, I'm under attack. I'm going to die. And my brain or my conscious mind goes into discovery. So discovery goes into all the memory banks and pulls out every drawer in terms of what's a similar context, what's a similar reality, how can I save myself? I know my mother, and I'm pulling open all those drawers at the same time. And so the mind goes into creative mode. We could call it lying or being creative. And so my reply was, Mom, you'll never believe it, but at the time, I left 15 minutes before the party, and then in the parking lot, I was sucked up by this light of air into this alien spaceship. And I told these little green men, if you don't beam me down, Scotty, my mother's going to take you out like you've never been taken out before. So I've just landed. And then my mother went into caring mode. Are you okay? And into her normal helicopter mode of, okay, so let's eat. Let's have something to eat. Do you want tea, calming tablets? Later in my relationship with my mother, when I got older, I was offered alcohol. So I enjoyed that part. But the conscious mind finds difficulty in working with the word why, because it has to open up an array of, and you feel it when you ask the question, so why are you motivated to come to work? And then when the person starts answering, you will hear a debate. So they'll go into a debate, and now that's the process of the neuroplasticity in the mind, opening up all the memory banks, taking pictures that is relevant, plastering them together, And through the 87 billion neurons that are at this stage throwing a party to say, let's get together so that we can concoct a story or come up with at least a decent defense, because our conscious mind has been built with the capacity for self-defense. And so we either become our best friend or we become our greatest critic or enemy, and it all happens within the conscious mind. So a few myths that I'd like to, as a neuroscience practitioner, just erase. The first one is that the brain does the thinking. The brain doesn't actually do any thinking. The brain is hardware. So the computer that you are on right now is no more intelligent than the day that you purchased it, because it's simply a collection of hardware. So if you open up the computer, there's hardware. But what makes the computer valuable is the software that's been loaded onto the hardware. So the hardware, which allows the DOS program to function. So the mind is the mind is the consciousness, it's the software, it's the neurology that's in action. But the brain is a tissue that's about 1.5 kilograms in weight. It's made of gray fatty tissue and white fatty tissue. It contains not water, but it contains like a plasma, and it takes 20% of our body energy every single day. But it houses the magnificence of our human consciousness. So we are our human consciousness, which means that we are bigger than our brain. So neuroscience is the study of and the structure of the functions of the nervous system. So that's neuroscience. But neuroplasticity, so neuroscience is like a branch of biology, and so you'll have neurophysiology, neuropsychology, neuroanatomy, neuroeducation, neurospirituality, neuropharmacology, neurobehavioral science, cognitive science, and you'll have endocrinology, which is the creation of chemicals within our body. So when you are thinking, and you with your thoughts can create, it's called epigenetics. So you can create a new gene, you can create protein, you can create a new gene which eventually can become a cell, etc., etc. So the neuroplasticity is that part of our conscious mind that does three things or four things. Number one, it creates thought. So every thought that you've ever created and has been stored in your memory, that's where we get our personality and our temperament from, is all our stored experiences and our stored thoughts. So it's all stored as a package. There's no separate storing component. Then the brain, from thinking, and that is triggered by environmental issues, realities that are happening to my life in real-time terms. The second thing that the neuroplasticity does, it creates energy. Now, in our neural networks, there's around about 7 different kinds of energy. So you've got food state energy, you've got motor energy, you've got muscle energy, you've got atomic energy, you've got electromagnetic energy, which can be measured through red blood corpuscles in your heart. And the magnetic energy that's happening right now via this online is we are connecting through the electromagnetic energy, even although we are distanced by thousands of miles. The reality of that, and that's called collective consciousness. So the moment you get people thinking about the same subject, the moment you've got people that are focusing on the same issues, you then have what is known as magnetic resonance. And it usually starts anything between 4 and 6 meters from our heart around us, above us and below us. And that is what a lot of people in New Age would call your aura. And we can photograph that. So we can see how pretty is your aura and how colorful is your aura and how stressed your aura could be. And then after it creates that energy, the next thing that pops up is emotion. So in neuroplasticity terminology, we don't call it emotions because they are energy in motion. So all your emotions are energy. So 99.99999% of us are energy. 0.01% is matter. And so when you set a neurological goal and you take the SMART formula, success, a formula for SMART, which is specific and measurable, attainable, rational, related, time-related, and then there's another word that we can add into the N, so it's SMART-N. The human mind doesn't recognize that because it's all matter. So until in neuroplasticity, when we're coaching people, we need to coach the goal to be experienced by the kinetic energy. And so that's why affirmations don't work. In every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Now, because our consciousness has a huge amount of intelligence built into it, our body intelligence reads what has just been said with an auditory language, and our brain has got 8 languages. And so it hears the sentence, in every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. And the intelligence of the kinesthetic part of our consciousness says, I don't believe you. So I'm going to delete it, I'm going to generalize it, and I'm going to dump it. Because I don't believe it. So that's why we say words must have meaning. So if I say to my wife, we had our 51st, wait for it, 51st wedding anniversary on the 13th of January, married to the same person for 51 years, and my daughter said, how the hell do you do it? And my answer was, you definitely attempt not to live the same year over and over and over again. So you've got to be in constant flux. You've got to be in constant change, in constant growth. So when Estelle and I had our celebration breakfast, it's our ritual that we, at that time, it's the day that we introduced the new version of who we are. So she said, hi, my name is Estelle. And she told me how she has shifted in her being over this past year. I made discoveries about her spirituality, that she no longer believes in certain things. I made discoveries about our love relationship, that there are certain things that she doesn't like, that she wants changed. And I always go into self-defense mode when that part comes up, and I do heavy breathing. And I had the privilege of sharing with her who's the new Bill Price. So we're constantly evolving and not evolving. Creation evolves. We were molded. We weren't created. We were molded by the Creator in the creation story, as the rabbi mentored me. And so creation was spoken into existence, and then man and woman were molded by the Creator and inbreathed by the Creator. So it takes time for his crowning glory to be placed on this earth, and that's who we are. So I'm unapologetic. I believe in a God, and I believe that I'm inbreathed and I am created rather than come from a lizard or a monkey, although sometimes I can do a lot of monkey business. Now, here we go. And so neuroplasticity is about paying attention. So there we are. We've got the brain, it's the hardware, the environment that's happening, the neurology that's throughout our entire being, and also in this green circle is the level of consciousness that's beyond our body. So we need to be aware of that all the time. In coaching, when we train people to be coaches and mentors, we'll talk about rapport. In the neuroscience and neuroplasticity coaching training, we talk about connection. So when you and your client are getting together and these two forces meet, you have what is known as a mirror neuron connection. It's the same thing that happens when you're watching your favorite sport or your soapy on television, or you're watching a movie. I get very involved in movies. We watched 3 parts of a series of fire station. I grew up in a fire station. My father was a fire chief. And what the Americans put on that show is, you can see all those little fires are man-made. And the fact that the fireman and the chief are having heavy conversations about interpersonal relationships while they're rolling out the hoses to put out a fire, it doesn't happen. We are not watching reality. We're watching a bunch of Americans who are turning fire protection services into an interpersonal relationship of let's chat while we throw water on this thing. And they're going to get it real hard when they put water on an electrical fire, and everybody who's holding the hose, their hair gets a new perm while they sing that song, "You Light Up My Life," like never before. And you turn to the person, you call them a nickname called Sparky. Now, here we are, and I'm soulfully alive, so we need to understand that when I'm working with anybody, when I'm talking to you on this webinar, I realize I'm not talking to a personality as much as I'm talking to a soulfully alive, in-breathed, living, intelligent biology. Of course, you've got personality. Of course, that's part of our neurology. We can't negate that. We can't say that that doesn't exist. But you are extremely, extremely important and intelligent in terms of who you are. So how does the mind work? So the environment happens. In this space, we've got 8 brain languages that are absorbing bytes of information. So around about 2 million bytes of information come into our neurology every second. Then what the intelligence of our neurology does with it, it then goes, okay, fine, I'm now going to filter this information. So here, not only in the brain, but all over in me, in my neurology, I've got 13 brain intelligences. So everything that gets shared gets filtered through that. I've got 8 brain languages, and that filters how I'm going to store the memory and how my neurons are going to decide how to store that memory. Sometimes I can store it cognitively. Most times it's stored unconsciously. Then it goes through a filtering system of 28 known filters in our neurology. It goes through 20 biases, filters through all of that. Then it goes through our competencies, our skills, our experience. And then the mind does an amazing thing. It decides for itself. So the 87 billion neurons that are throwing the party in those seconds are going, now what are we going to do with this? So they decide that this information is now going to go all over the place. And some of it gets deleted, some of it gets stored. And the reality is that at the end of those 2 seconds, in a nanosecond, that information is taken, and instead of 2 million bytes of information, the mind has reduced it to, wait for it, 138,000 bytes. The rest has been stored, the rest is over. So this is what in neuroplasticity we call the area of the known, knowing. And that 138,000 bytes are then stored in our knowing, and part of that is our personality and our conscious awareness of the now and the present. But most of us are unconscious in the now, but we are conscious in our present. So there's a bit of a wider scope. So what do I now do? Mentoring is about when 2 people, or coaching is about when 2 people, and so I'll just put the drawing up here so you get a feeling of what the neurology of that is all about. So here's a coach, and all of us have a little trailer behind us, and that's got all of our history in it. So when you got married, you married your in-laws, you married the history of your partner, who's going to keep stuff from you for 20, 30 years until they feel safe. So the purpose of coaching and mentoring is to create an atmosphere of psychological safety, because here is the person that's being mentored and coached, and they too have a trailer. When my son enjoyed a glass of wine together with me on our anniversary, I said to him, so how's it going with you? Because their anniversary was a few days before. And I said, okay, so now you married X amount of years. What have you learned? And he said, Dad, I've learned how to handle the new surprise that comes out of the trailer in our relationship. So the new surprises is, oh, I want to tell you about XYZ that happened in my childhood. And so we hide the stuff that's in our trailer, but in there is experience and our et cetera, but we also got neurology. So this space here is called rapport and connection. Then we have this space over here, which is the coaching space, and this is where we go. So in this person is their context, and I as the coach am the process expert or mentor, and the person that I'm mentoring and coaching, they are the context expert. But in mentoring, there's a slight deviation, because I'm not only a process expert when I mentor, I'm an expert about something that this person would like to achieve or like to know. Okay, so Lisa, let's use the last part of our interaction. And so I'm the mentor. And we've previously discussed that you would like to, from my level of expertise, so I, in mentoring, now download from my unconscious competence. In other words, I don't even know that I know it, but I just know that I know it. So it's in the level of intuition. It's in the level of I know that I know. And I'm constantly adding to that, but I can speak. You know that you're speaking from your expert version of any particular subject that you want to transfer in terms of knowledge and wisdom, so that this person doesn't have to go through all the hoops of going through university, etc. So my question, Lisa, is how can I, in a mentoring experience with you, help you with your mentoring to add value to your clients by means of giving you one tool in terms of neuroscience. What would be the benefit for you if you had to learn one tool that could equip you to add greater value?
So when you were talking, you were speaking on this chat about the baggage, the bag with the history, and the goal within coaching and mentoring is to support somebody to achieve what they want to achieve. And a big part of that is the trust element, the rapport element, the therapeutic relationship. If we can establish a strong, safe environment for that coachee or mentoree or training, then they're more open to suggestions and movements forward. So I think the thing that would help me is how can I better support that relationship building process with what you know?
Okay. So if I've heard you correctly, you wanting to add value to your clients in terms of a greater emphasis on foundational support that they would feel psychologically safer with and would feel empowered in.
Yeah.
Have I summarized that in a way that you're going, okay, that's what I mean. Right, thank you for that. So that gives me clarity. So allow me to give you one simple tool that I use and have found to be, I think this is like my favorite, and you're going to sense a sense of flow as I share this with you. It's going to come across with confidence. It's going to come across with humility, I hope, rather than I know everything, because I don't. And I'm still learning as I go. So here's what I want you to understand in your next mentoring session. The first thing is you show up in this space with the umbrella of neuroscience, and you show up with reality that the person that you're coaching their internal consciousness, their living consciousness, their neuroplasticity.
Mm-hmm.
And the three things that come to mind there are in my neuroplasticity, so whatever you're going to do to build a foundation, so there's the foundation that you're going to build. The way that you're going to question this person, so you're going to ask questions, you're going to give input and advice going, this is how I understand how my mind works, and for you to be more comfortable in this foundation, I want to ask you a couple of questions. So the first question we're going to ask is around thinking. So Lisa, what is the primal thought, the one outstanding thought when you think about this foundation over here? So when you think about that foundation that's there, this foundation, what's the one thought that is prompted in your mind right now when you look at that? I want to add to the foundation of this relationship.
Safety.
Safety.
Around how do they feel safe, or how can I help them feel safe?
Okay. So that thought is safety. Wonderful. Then the next thing in neuroplasticity is energy. So I'd like you to take a moment and just relax. Take a deep breath in through the nostrils and focus on the air coming through your nose. And then breathe it out over your lips and feel the warmth of the air going over your lips. And breathe in again. And breathe out. Introduce the thought safety. And breathe in and out. And now I'm wondering, as you become aware of your body, where could you pinpoint any sense of energy fluctuation in your physiology? Where are you sensing energy as an epicenter when you say the word safety?
I actually feel it around my heart, chest area.
Okay. All right. Right. So just put your hand there, and I'd like you just to get in touch with that energy. And I'd like you to breathe in and out a few times, but I'd like to invite you to take that energy and enhance it. I want you to magnify it a little. So if it was feeling warm, increase the warmth. If it was feeling tingly, increase the tingling sensation. If it was feeling there was rapid movement, increase the movement even more until you can feel it right now under your left hand, that energy. Then I'd like you to grab it with your hand, make a fist, and then open your hand like that and just put it into the space between you and your mentee. Just put it out there. What are you noticing about the space now between you and your client or your protege?
Feels lighter. Feels like there's a heart connection.
That lightness, is it inviting you?
It's inviting both. Both are coming closer.
Okay. What are you noticing about your sense of, okay, I'm a mentor, I've got a model, and I've got competencies. What's happening in the world of my capacity as a mentor? I've got mentoring competencies, which are active listening and designing formulas and sharing and connection and creation of possible action paths, whichever model you're using and which mentoring group you're using. How is that changing for you when you pay attention with the warmth that you've just put into the space?
It feels warm and it feels more relaxed, and it feels like there's more of a back and forth connection between the two parties, happening more intuitively, more relaxed, more with ease.
Okay, so you're far more relaxed. The thinking was around safety. You've now turned the energy into and you've named it with an emotion called I'm relaxed. My protege is relaxed as well. Why? Because I'm emulating that energy with the person. So that's the feeling. What is the action? What is one or two physical actions that you are experiencing right now that you're seeing yourself doing uniquely differently in your mentoring, your next mentoring session?
Explain that, please, Bill.
So you have created safety.
Yeah.
You've got this feeling of relaxed, the warmth of safety has gone into the space.
Yeah.
You're pitching up as a mentor, and now you need to take this relaxed feeling that's in me and in my protege, that's within our space, and what is your action that you want to change in terms of being a mentor? What's the one thing that you believe, if I change that, I'll be doing relaxed safety?
Yeah. So what would change is my demeanor will be more relaxed. I'll be more kind of sat back, listening more, feeling into the situation more. That's opening up the space for the download of prior knowledge, skills, experience that is going to come through because I'm listening more intuitively to the other person and the words they're saying, how they're saying them, and what the natural next step from me will be to move that journey along.
Okay, very well. So I see you, as you've explained, you're seated comfortably, you've taken full position in the chair, you're leaning back because there's a certain confidence that you're leaning into.
Yeah.
The arm of the chair is almost, I'm resting myself in that confidence and competence, and I'm far more intuitively aware of the space and the drama that's happening here in front of me. And I'm realizing that I'm equipped.
Okay. That's it, yeah.
All right. So reflection is what I want to encourage you to do now. So I've done a neuroplasticity exercise with you. You can future focus this and go, let me go and sit down in my chair. Let me go and think about who I'm about to coach or mentor. Go into this mindset here of safety, relaxed, being connected, and I am totally aware and I'm now relaxed. How would I open the mentoring session? How would I be aware of questions? So the questioning is the tool that I've given you, makes you far more aware of who you are, who they are, and the interactivity between the two of you. So that's just a very simple tool. To close off, to give you a bit of a backdrop around that, in our neuroplasticity, in our consciousness, there are three main spaces. There's a space called stress and strive and survive. And then there is a space called thrive. Now, in this space is actually where we want to be. But because we are neuroscientists, we pay attention to a third space, and that third space is called our consciousness. And this is in our prefrontal cortex, and this is where we do reflection. We also do analysis, and we also do thinking. But the moment, so when you're coaching people, superimpose this over them and go, what stresses you about what you've just told me? I can't get on with my mother, I can't get on with a dog or whatever it is, can't get on with my fellow colleague. That stress creates tension, negative tension. If I am bound by stress and survival, I'll never thrive. This is a rabbit hole. But what makes me, as the mentor, one of the things that I've got to do, I've got to awaken conscious awareness. For the person to say, oh my word, I haven't seen that. Oh my word, I haven't experienced that. So in taking you through the exercise to feel safety, warmth and the relaxed, suddenly your mind is going, whoa, I've learned something new. And you've already created the neuro pathway. All you've got to do is sit back in a chair, put your arms up onto the armrest of the chair, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and you're there. Your brain recognizes action. That's why behavior is critical to knee in emotion and kinesthetics. So when you're coaching a person, they're either in a huge stress mode, and here you'll hear excuses, blame games. This is, I've got to get away from things mode. But here I take a conscious step of stepping back consciously and going, do I want to have that? The question is, that's the question. Answer is no. What do I want? And that's when I use my creative consciousness and create a new way of thinking, a new way of energy, a new emotion, which I internalize into my biokinetics in my body, in my biology, and I picture an action. I see myself doing that action. So instead of, as a mentor and coach, writing only down an action list, I write down a response list. And it shifts the client from I'm now accountable to I am now the owner of my future. So in coaching and mentoring, everything that we do is the assisting of recreating a new tomorrow, a new in a moment's time, a new whatever. But it's more than just sending them away with an affirmation and a drawing. It's sending them away with an empowerment of an internalized process going, I can do it. I've just done it. And my neurology says, I'm ready. All you got to do is trigger me. All you got to do is trigger me. And the trigger is where the person said, I sit back in my chair, I lean back, boom, comes the confidence, wham comes the worth, wham comes the warmth, and there I am. And you've now learned a new tool. And here is the backdrop to all neuroplasticity coaching and mentoring. We're shifting people into their future, a new reality, not yesterday's reality. My to-do list puts me into stress. This is where cortisol switches on and lots of other horrible chemicals. But Thrive puts me into neuroplasticity, which we call neurotransmitters, which have amazing feelings and can create amazing energy, but that's for another lecture in total. So I hope today we have added value to give you a little bit of a backdrop of neuroscience, neuroplasticity. This is neuroplasticity, and it's based on thinking, energy, feeling, action, response, or reflection.
Wow, thank you very much, Bill. My conscious awakening moment kicked me off Zoom. The energy was strong, so I apologize. I disappeared there for a short while, came back quickly. So thank you for that information. Yeah, absolutely, truly, it was great. I'm going to go through all of the things, if I can, that I took from today. What we'd like to do now, just as we come to an end, first of all, thank you, Bill, for your information, is we're just going to have a short reflection, which is our IAPC&M CPD reflection for our own records. So please, if you can, as we wrap up, it's time now for our own CPD opportunity, our own reflection. So please spend a few moments. I'll keep an eye on the clock. We've got 1 minute. As you know, we learn best when we can reflect as soon as we can upon the learning that we've had. So just spend a moment or two jotting down some key learnings that you've taken from today, and then place them in the chat so that we can share them with Bill, and I will share mine too. So I will start now, and I'll give you all just over a minute. Okay, just while we're waiting, Bill, for people to comment in the chat, please tell us the information you told me prior to the live, which was the information on your ebook and also the programs, the courses that you deliver.
Thank you. So in the beginning, if anybody would like to make contact with me, my email is bill.price@me.com. And I will be sending Lisa a few articles and an ebook, which you can have with my compliments, and I hope will add value to your journey as an exceptional mentor, moving into a world of self-transformation into becoming beyond exceptional. That's my hope for you all. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate that. And it's been my pleasure to be your guest and add value. And I'm looking forward to future time when we can continue to do the dance together.
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating masterclass, Bill. We have just thank you so much for your time and the sharing of your knowledge. David said generally everything, he's taken so much away, particularly interested in the thought process and how that relates to hardware and software. And Trudy has said the reality of how negative cortisol is in our bodies and minds. As a mentor, it's vital to be calm in all we do, which I thought a brilliant. I got so much, from the beginning when you said, well, mentoring, coaching, training, it's in your DNA. You are there to help. It's who you are. And we are very blessed to be in these roles ourselves. And then as you started talking about, the hardware and the software and the neuroplasticity being a part of when you talked about the thoughts and the energies and the environment and collective consciousness, I was in there. You had me at that point completely. And then when you took kind of the standard coaching approach and allowed us to not just hear you talk about it on a deeper level, but demonstrate it through the exercise and the mentoring you gave me was phenomenal. I took your learnings and to be a part of it and experience what you were talking about on a deeper level, it has made a huge impact in my future as a coach and mentor. So appreciation there. Just so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you. We do have a couple of minutes. If anyone does have a question, I'll just give people the opportunity. If anyone does have a question, this is your time now to ask a quick question. If not, we will just naturally finish today and allow Bill to continue on his day too.
I need to leave in the next minute or so.
Well.
For another coaching session in a company that I'm in their premises right now. So
yeah, I'll take that back. Erase that comment. You should never ask a question at the end of a coaching session, should we, David?
Well, it has. It's you. Everybody is warned. And I've got loads of questions for you, Bill, but we'll catch up on those sort of when we go through your your accreditation.
I'm looking forward to my accreditation process with you.
Yeah. So am I now. I just must make sure I don't go off track. But yeah, that was. I've listened to a lot of webinars. That was outstanding. That was really, really interesting. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, David.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. Go and enjoy your day. Enjoy your next call. And everybody else, we're back at 12:30 for our next mentoring masterclass.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.